Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, Taco, and today we're back with another video, and week 16 is here. We've only got 3 more weeks until the postseason. We've got quite a few games with playoff implications, also quite a few games for important draft implications. But, yeah, we got a pretty good slate of football that I'm ready to pick. Yeah, let's get into it. Last week, I went 12-4 for a total of 158 and 66. So on there, if that's wrong. And yeah, let's get right into the video. We start off, it's Thursday night football. It's the Broncos heading to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. When you look at the Broncos, they are winners of 4 straight. They have been playing some great football. It should be more than 4 straight if, you know, the thing didn't happen with Kansas City in the block kick. But the Broncos have been playing amazing football. I don't really know they get it done, but they are always getting it done. That defense is elite. Nick Bonito's elite. Patrick Surtain's obviously elite. And they have been doing what they've needed to do the past couple weeks, beating the Colts by quite a bit last week. On the other side, you look at the Chargers. This is a team, not a great week last week. You lost to the Bucs by a lot of points. Bucs are a very good team, but you need to be able to beat very good teams if you are going to be in the postseason, if you are going to try to win the postseason. But yeah, I still think that the Chargers are a good football team. When you look at both of these teams, it's going to be a dogfight. There's a reason why they flex this game in. But at the end of the day, I think that the team that's hotter, I think that the team that's better is the Denver Broncos. Give me them. If they win, they make the playoffs. 1-point win, 21-20. I think that they have the team. They have the ability to get it done because that's what they do. They've been able to win these close games that a team like the Chargers historically and always lose. Give me Denver. Then you go to Saturday. Of course, they have to put games on Saturday when the college football playoffs start because they're jerks talking about the schedule committee. But you've got the Texans. You've got the Chiefs. I don't know if it's committee. But when you look at the Texans, last week, you beat the Dolphins. Dolphins are a decent football team. Your defense looked great. Stingley, I believe, had 2 picks. But Stingley's had a great year. You've been playing some good football. It wasn't the best football offensively, but you were able to get a win. On the other side, you look at the Chiefs. Obviously, the big concern is Mahomes. For some reason, I thought you were going to lose to the Browns. You obviously didn't. It was a pretty decent week, besides, obviously, what happened to Mahomes. They say week to week. I think you've got 3 games in 11 days. You're going to have the 1 seed, even if you lose. I think that they're going to rest him for Carson Wentz, and I think that, yeah, maybe if Mahomes was playing, I would take the Chiefs. I probably would. But I'm going to take the Texans if Carson Wentz is starting. 20-17. I like Carson Wentz still. I have a soft spot for him. He won us a Super Bowl, even though his departure wasn't the greatest. But, you know, I do think that the Texans are the better team if the Chiefs don't have the player that has been saving their offense this season. Their offense sucks besides him. Then another pretty solid Saturday game. You've got the Steelers heading to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. When you look at the Steelers last week, it wasn't a great week against the Eagles, but that's what the Eagles do. The Eagles win football games. But yeah, it wasn't a great week, especially for the offense. You were able to kind of get something going, but then that fumble really killed you. On the other side, you look at the Ravens. Ravens have been playing great football recently. They've won their last 2 at least, maybe 3. No, because the Eagles was 3. But they are playing good football. Lamar Jackson's playing like an MVP. I think he should win it. They'll give it to Allen, though. But yeah, the Ravens are playing some pretty good football. When you look at these 2 teams, yeah, the Steelers get the best of them, but that's usually at home in Pittsburgh. I actually like the Ravens here. Give me a 26-21 win. The Steelers just did not look good last week. That is one thing I will say. It was not a good week of performance. I don't know how you'll be able to bounce back off that. I know what Tomlin is. I know that Tomlin's usually able to do that. I'm not sure this week against a team in the Ravens that's really clicking as they usually are at this point in the season. Give me Baltimore. Then you've got the Giants heading to Mercedes-Benz Stadium to take on the Falcons. The Falcons will be starting Michael Penix this week in a replacement for Kirk Cousins. They were able to get a win, but it was the Raiders and you put up 15 points. It wasn't a good win. It was a win because one team severely sucks. On the other side, you look at the Giants, another team that severely sucks. The Ravens took advantage of you. You had Tim Boyle in there. I think DeVito will be back. I'm not even sure who will be your quarterback, but it's not going to be the winner. Give me the Falcons 27-14. I think that the Falcons are going to have a little bit of a bounce back after what happened last week. I think Penix is going to play some decent football from when he's gotten into the games preseason and regular season. He's looked pretty good. He looks ready, and I can't wait to see it in action. Then you've got the Lions heading to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Lions, it wasn't a great week last week because you lost. Your defense is dying. Literally, like everybody is just getting hurt left and right. It sucks to see. But, yeah, luckily you are facing a terrible Bears offense. You know, unstoppable force versus immovable object. It's the exact opposite of that. Because the Bears cannot move the football offensively. It's just not looking good with the Bears. What happened with the Vikings last week. Yes, the Vikings are a good football team, but usually those games are close. NFC North games in general. But just Vikings games are always close. But they just blew you out. Yeah, I do think that the Lions will give up something. I don't think that they'll give up enough. Oh, it sucks what happened to Montgomery, by the way. I love David Montgomery. Yeah, it sucks to see what happened. But give me the Lions 34-17. They'll be able to get a win here. They'll be able to get back into the groove of things. Bears are definitely a team that you want if your defense sucks. And yeah, give me Detroit. Then you've got, I believe, the Panthers heading to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. When you look at the Panthers, it was a bad week last week. I don't think that it's time to start hitting the panic button again. You still have been playing some great football. I think that it was more of an off week for that team, not a this team can't play football like it looked like earlier in the season. And the Cowboys have been playing decently. You still have had a great stretch before that. For the last couple games, you've looked like a really good football team. On the other side, you look at the Cardinals. It was a great win versus New England last week. You're able to get the job done. Just stuff them. Do what you need to do. Fluster their offense enough. And gash their defense enough. I think that these are two teams that, I mean, they were supposed to suck at the beginning of the year, but they've been playing some pretty decent football, especially recently. But give me the Cardinals 27-21. I don't know if the Panthers are the team that we thought that they were after Dallas. Not saying that, you know, what I said earlier. But still, I think that the Cardinals, they are a better team. They'll be able to get a win here. And I guess they would need the Rams to lose. And then it's their division. Or not really. Anyways, give me the Cardinals. Speaking of the Rams, you've got the Rams heading up to MetLife to take on the Jets. When you look at these Rams, not a good week last week. The Niners struggling offensively. And you were able to take advantage of that. You know, not a good week in the rain. But it happens sometimes. And you were still able to escape with a W. On the other side, you look at the Jets. It was a good week last week. Yes, the Jags are 3-11 now. But they are a decent football team, and you were able to get a win. And honestly, you have played some teams pretty close. This isn't a 4-10 football team the way that we say the Bengals aren't a 6-8 football team. At the end of the day, why did I do that? I do think that the Rams are the better team, though. I think that they'll be able to show it. 27-24, the close losses continue for the Jets. And give me L.A. I think that their offense is going to be too much for this Jets D. Then you've got the Eagles heading to FedEx Field or Northwest East Stadium to take on the Commies. When you look at the Eagles, it was a great week last week. The Steelers were a good team. You had some adversity. You were able to slosh it down. Hurts looked good. Barkley was out for a little, but I think he'll be back in 100%. And that 10-minute drive to end the game might be the most demoralizing thing you can do to an opponent. Just punt it with 10 minutes left and not give them the ball back. On the other side, you look at the Commies. They played it close with the Saints. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good win because the Saints are a bad football team. You almost allowed a 17-0 comeback, but you were able to put a win in the win column. You're in a prime position to make the playoffs. Even if you lose this game, But you are going to lose this game. Philly's in a great... They've been playing some great football. I have them winning 31-20. Philly's offense has been doing what they need to do. Philly's defense has been doing what they've needed to do the entire season. Give me the bird. Then you've got, I believe, the Browns heading to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. When you look at the Browns, it was a bad week last week. One good run from Jerome Ford, and that was it. I believe that you'll be starting DTR. That's bad. I think you should just keep it with Winston. He at least gives you a chance to win a shootout game like this. On the other side, and Nick Chubb broke his foot, which sucks to see. But he hasn't been playing great anyways. But, yeah, Nick Chubb, I mean, everybody loves Nick Chubb, so it sucks to see that. On the other side, you look at the Bengals. They've gotten 2 straight wins. Tennessee, they had some problems, but they were able to overcome them. The offense is still looking amazing. I believe Burrow has like 37 touchdowns. Yeah, and that offense has been clicking the whole year. The defense, it's still not great, but you're going to be able to stuff the Browns offense with DTR. Give me the Bengals 38-24. That's just what the Bengals do. The Bengals put up points. Yes, they're in a great team, but they do put up points when they need to, and that's what they will be able to do in this one. Then you've got the Titans heading to Indianapolis, maybe the other way around. I think it's whatever team is on the bottom here to take on the Colts. When you look at the Titans, last week it was that game against the Bengals where he didn't play so great. Will Levis got benched. I believe that that's going to continue into this week. And defense didn't play good. Offense, I mean, he had some flashes, but I think he had 6 or 7 turnovers, like something horrendous. Yeah, on the other side, you look at the Colts. It wasn't a great game against the Broncos. You jumped out to that lead, and you gave it up. JT had that thing, where he dropped the ball before he crossed the goal line, and he threw that pick six. Adonai Mitchell threw a pick six. It just wasn't a good week. It wasn't meant to be your week, but you are still a good football team. You'll be able to do what you need to do here. Get a win. 24-21, I think it will be close. I think it will be competitive because the Titans aren't this horrendous team. But I do have the Colts winning this one. Then I believe this is to start the 405s. You have the Seahawks heading to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. When you look at the Seahawks, it wasn't a good week last week. Your front seven was getting gashed by Josh Jacobs a lot. It was not a good showing by your team against the Packers. They were able to do whatever you wanted offensively. Whatever happened to Geno Smith, I believe that he'll be back this week. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to predict it like he's back. On the other side, you look at the Vikings. It was a great win. Yes, the Bears are just spiraling into... I mean, they suck. But you were able to get a decent win, put up some great numbers offensively. Darnold, I still think he's looking like the guy. I know that you're not going to extend him, but he's been playing some amazing football, and I have that continuing. Give me the Vikings 30-24. They'll be able to get the job done. The Seahawks will get a little bit on them, but they will be able to come out here and get a good W. Then you've got a game that I believe was flexed into the 4 window for no reason. It's the Patriots heading to Buffalo to take on the Bills. When you look at the Bills, it was an amazing game last week because you were able to score 48 points. Yes, that defense sucks, but that's 11 guys who play in the NFL, and you're able to put up 48 points on them. That's pretty good. Your defense did have some issues. Most teams' defenses have issues against the Detroit Lions, and I trust that you'll be able to get it fixed. On the other side, you look at the Patriots. Cardinals are a decent team. You weren't expected to be much. You did what you need to do, which is find out that Drake May is your franchise quarterback. And that's just the whole season. Last week wasn't a good week. I don't really think that you'll be able to do much this week. It might be a little bit cool. Give me the Bills 28-16. They'll be able to get the job done because that's what they've been doing the entire season. Yes, I can see this being a bit higher scoring. I do think that the Bills' defense, though, they've got to get back to their old form. It's not like something happened to just have them start allowing 40. Something's got to change, and I think it will. Then you've got such a horrendous game that I might not even watch Red Zone. The Raiders heading to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Maybe the other way around. The Raiders suck. There isn't much else to say. On the other side, you look at the Jags. It was a decent game against the Jets last week. You weren't able to get a win, but the Jets, they've been playing some good football. They played some good football there. You were able to keep it close, score some. I believe that will not really continue, but you will be able to do enough to beat the Raiders 20-7. It's bad football being played over there. I still think Desmond Ritter's playing. Maybe if AOC plays. I'm not going to pick the Raiders, but I'm going to pick it a little bit nicer. But yeah, these two teams suck, and I will not be watching any of this football game. Give me the Jags, though, because I'm forced to predict it. Then it is the Niners heading to Miami to take on the Dolphins. When you look at the Niners, bad week last week. You weren't able to get anything going offensively, and I don't know what's going to happen that's going to make that change. I do think that something's going to happen. I do believe that it's going to get a little bit better. It was a bad week for the Niners last week. I think that the Rams played some good defense, and you weren't able to overcome that. And what happened with Devondre Campbell is hilarious. On the other side, you look at the Dolphins. It was a bad week. It was a bad week last week. Losing to the Texans, it wasn't good. I think that your offense will be able to get a little bit back on track, because that's what the Dolphins do. Texans have a decent defense. They have a pretty underrated defense. And, yeah, give me the Dolphins 24-17. Niners haven't been playing good football besides the 1 week against the Bears, but that's the Bears. That doesn't count. And, yeah, I think that the Dolphins, they'll be able to do enough to get a win here. Then it is Sunday Night Football. It's the Bucs heading to AT&T Stadium to take on the Dallas Cowboys. When you look at the Bucs, they have been playing some amazing football. I believe it's 4 straight wins. Last week, Chargers are a good football team. A lot of people expect the Chargers to win that game, and you went in there. It was close in the first half, and you blew them out in the second half. It was some amazing football that was being played by Baker, by that whole offense. They're getting right at the right time. And I think as an Eagles fan, they're the most scary team, mainly because they just beat the Eagles every time. But I do think that they're a pretty scary team. On the other side, you look at Dallas. It was a really good week of football last week. What you were able to do to the Panthers, especially what your defense was able to do, was great. The offense is doing what they need to do, playing through CeeDee Lamb. Cooper Rush isn't making mistakes, and you're playing some pretty decent football. Even like the Bengals are a decent team, and you were able to keep it really close with them. I don't think that it's enough for the Bucs, though. I think that the Bucs are one of the hottest teams in football, probably the second hottest behind the Eagles and maybe the Bills. But the Bills lost to the Rams. Give me the Bucs 34-20. They have been playing some amazing football, and I believe that it's going to continue in Dallas, where the Cowboys haven't gotten a win this year, I believe. Then it is Monday Night Football. The Saints heading to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers. When you look at the Saints, it was a decent week last week. You were down 17-0. You switched quarterbacks, and Rattler gave you a bit of a spark. I consider it a drop, just an incompletion away from winning a football game against a very decent team in the Commanders. On the other side, you look at the Packers. They were able to beat the crap out of Seattle. Yes, they didn't have Geno for the second half, but the ability that the Packers had to run the ball was amazing. Jordan Love's playing some great football. He's playing some turnover-free football, and the Packers have been playing amazing. Give me them 31-14. They are a very good football team, especially at home with a team from the South coming up. I know that they play in a dome, but they're not ready for Green Bay weather. And the Saints, they just have some problems. That's going to be it for this video. Hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure that you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Next week, the video will be coming out on Tuesday because there's games on Wednesday. It will be coming out on Christmas Eve. At least I'll attempt it. It might come out on Wednesday. But yeah, see y'all. Peace. If you want my college football playoff picks, they're right here. Maybe if I decide to put them. See y'all.